Hi, I'm the 13th Wolfman and Cult Epics. Man, they were nice enough to send over this. This is a great Italian giallo film, Deadly Sweet, which which is Col Cuore in Gola. I believe it translates to I Am What I Am. I believe that was the original title for this movie. This is a very, very cool film. It's got a really cool looking cover on it too. This is a Tino Brass movie. Now, if you know who Tino Brass is, this is like one of the only few giallo films he ever put out. Because he's more famous for doing movies like Caligula. You know. So you got this guy here, Bernard. This movie starts in a morgue where this young lady, Jane, is there with her stepmother and her brother, and they're identifying her father in a morgue. The police are excuse me. The police are still investigating how this nice old man got hit by a car. Well, Jane doesn't know how to deal with it, so she goes out to a local club. The year is 1967, and the place, London, England. This movie has a lot of feeling to it. So, she winds up in this club and that's where Bernard sees her for the first time. He sees her with her brother. He sees her with her brother. Yeah. And someone says, "Oh no, don't. That's Jane Burroughs. You don't want to deal with her. She's Jane. She's just kind of aloof, you know." Later, Bernard ends up at this guy's place called the guy's name was Prescott. And Prescott is dead on the floor. He's been whacked in the head with a statuette or something like that. Well, when he turns around, Jane is standing there and she says straight up, she didn't do it. From that point on, this really bizarre mystery unravels. A lot of people die in this movie. I can't believe the amount I think I counted it out about 8 or 9. You know. This is a really, really good film. I would highly, highly recommend this film. This movie, I don't know if one of my all-time favorite British movies is a movie called Blow Up with Vanessa Redgrave, where this photographer goes out to I want to say Hyde Park. I'm not 100%, but it's one of the parks in England. And he's taking photographs because he's bored with his, he's a fashion photographer, but he's trying to get inspiration, so he goes out to the park and he takes pictures, and he takes a picture of this bush, this giant shrubbery. And when he goes home and develops it, he sees that there's this little mark in the corner, and he blows it up and and sees that there's a foot there. He goes back and he finds out that there's this body behind, he doesn't know what to do with it, but he's curious on how it ended up that way. This movie feels so much like that movie. They both came out about the same time. Man, this movie it's in Italian, yes, with English subtitles. Again, for some reason, the English subtitles up there are long enough for you to read everything. It's not like you get lost or behind, or you don't get to watch the movie either, because you do. This is such a good film. There's a little bit of nudity. You do see Jane's breasts 2-3 times. It's a very good film. Tino Brass. I would have liked to have seen more movies like this from Tino Brass. And you can definitely see that this movie was shot in the 1960s, because it's that period of the 1960s where people with cameras were trying new things in new ways, and they're like, well, because they could, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to do a double exposure image or something like that, and it winds up in the film, and it makes the film a little more interesting. That's what happened here. There's a few interesting shots like that. It's very well done. It's got a very cool story. The special features, there's an audio commentary by Tinto Brass, and dude, if you listen to, I listened to like the first 5 minutes of the commentary, you know, I probably listened to it more some other time, but just to hear what he sounds like, this has got to be the thickest Italian accent ever. So, there's a lobby card gallery and a trailer, and the lobby card gallery is kind of short. I figured that there'd be a few more. The movie is 105 minutes. Oh, and another thing is that half the time the movie's in color. The movie starts out in color, but from time to time it'll flip to black and white. Just because I don't know if the black and white scenes represent something else, if they're supposed to, but it's just really, really kind of odd. Again, it's a good movie. I like it. That's the front. That's the back. And the disc art looks like that. Like I said, now this is from Cult Epics. I would suggest going over there and checking it out, because I believe they also put out like not just this, but they put out a Tinto Brass box set, so you can get a few of his films if you want to. I give this 3.5 chainsaws out of 4 chainsaws. Easy. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I'm the 13th Wolfman, and I'm on the prowl.